There are literally thousands of publicly traded companies you can invest in, not to mention the many exchange-traded funds, ETFs, and mutual funds you can buy, so it's not strange that many buyers don't know where to start. And since the market has been going down recently, especially for growth stocks, there are a lot of stocks that are selling for much less than they did 6 months or a year ago. But which stocks should you buy in 2023? Even though I don't have a crystal ball that tells me which stocks will give me the best results, I've tried to do the next best thing. In this piece, I'm going to talk about 10 stocks that I think could be great buys for long-term buyers in 2023. 1. Etsy. During the outbreak, online shopping went through the roof. Etsy, on the other hand, grew at more than twice the rate of e-commerce as a whole. Etsy's market chance is in the hundreds of billions of dollars because of the strength of its platform and brand. With about $13 billion in sales on its platform in 2022, it has only just begun to scratch the surface. And since the stock has dropped a lot during the recent dip in growth stocks, now could be a great time for long-term investors who are patient to take a closer look. 2. Pinterest. Pinterest is an island of happiness in a social media world that has become more sad and divided. Part of the reason for this is that Pinterest is about ideas. When people go to Pinterest, they want to think about things, not other people. Pinterest gives people visual ideas for the things they want to do, like building a dream deck, making a birthday cake for a child, or changing their clothing. From a long-term investor's point of view, the most exciting thing is that Pinterest has a huge chance to make money off of its users, especially as the company moves away from its standard model of focusing on ads and tries to find ways to add e-commerce to its platform. The change makes a lot of sense. People go to Pinterest to find things they might want to buy, and it recently hired Bill Ready, who has a lot of experience in e-commerce, as its CEO to help speed up its shift. When people are already there for ideas, it's easy to imagine how advertising, lead generation, and product placement could go together smoothly. Internationally, where 80% of its users are but where only a tiny part of its income comes from, there is a huge amount of money-making potential. 3. Block, which used to be called Square, has grown from a small company that made payment processing hardware to a large financial environment for businesses and people. On the retailer side, Block handled about $186 billion in payments over the last 4 quarters, and it also offers a set of related services for companies. Individually, Block has the Cash App, which has 51 million monthly active users and can be used to send money to other people, get direct payments and debit cards, buy and sell stocks and Bitcoin crypto BTC, and do a lot more. Block also bought the music app Tidal and the buy now, pay later tool Afterpay. 4. Realty Income. There are good reasons to think that Realty Income is one of the best stocks for long-term buyers in terms of value, growth, and income. Realty Income is a real estate investment trust, or REIT, in case you haven't heard of it. It mostly invests in standalone, single-tenant retail buildings. Some of the top clients include Walgreens Nasdaq WBA, Dollar General NICE DG, and FedEx NICE FDX. Realty Income owns more than 11,700 properties in the US and Europe. Most of these properties do well during recessions and are less likely to be affected by e-commerce than most retail businesses. Plus, the triple net lease format of Realty Income helps to build a steady, regular stream of income. The proof is in how well something works. Since it was listed on the NICE in 1994, Realty Income has had an annualized total return of 14.6%, which is a lot better than the S&P 500. It has paid payments for more than 600 months in a row. 5. Shopify. Shopify runs a platform that lets businesses of all kinds sell their goods online. Its main goal is to give small businesses more power and help them grow by building long-term relationships with them. The one-stop shop way that Shopify makes e-commerce possible has made it a giant. It now has more e-commerce sales going through its platform than any other company except Amazon. But Shopify might just be getting going. Over the past 4 quarters, the site has made $5.6 billion in sales, but this is only a small part of its expected $153 billion in growing market potential as more stores focus on online sales. Shopify has the second largest market share, which gives it a strong environment and network effect benefits over rivals. With shares falling sharply during the recent market slump because of fears of a recession and signs of a slowdown in consumer spending, Shopify seems like a clear choice for the best stocks to buy in 2023. 6. Mercado Libre. Mercado Libre is often called the Amazon of Latin America, and for good reason. It is one of my favorite stocks to buy for the long run. The company runs an e-commerce marketplace that is very popular in Brazil and Argentina, two of the most populous countries in the area. But Mercado Libre is a lot more than that. It runs a platform for making payments called Mercado Pago, a transportation service called Mercado Envios, a platform for giving money to businesses, and more. In the fourth quarter of 2022, $9.6 billion worth of goods were sold on the marketplace. Mercado Pago handles more than $140 billion worth of goods every year, with about two-thirds of that coming from outside the company's e-commerce site. 7. Intuitive Surgical. Robot-assisted surgery is better than surgery done by people whose hands shake. Since 2005, when I first heard about Intuitive Surgical stock, not much has changed about this general idea. The Da Vinci surgery system is the clear market winner, and the razors and blades plan helps it make a steady stream of income as its systems are used to do treatments. With a market share of about 80% global, Intuitive Surgery is the leader in its field. It also has a lot of room to grow as its surgery systems become more popular and as the number of treatments they can be used for grows. This is especially true in many foreign markets, where the use of robot-assisted surgery could be a long-term growth driver for this great business for decades to come. 8. Disney. The House of Mouse is a portfolio's all-weather tires. The pandemic hurt Disney's theme parks and films, but it helped its streaming service, Disney+, which has become a powerhouse years ahead of schedule. In fact, Disney Plus has more than 160 million subscribers less than 4 years after it started. This is a lot more than the company's original plan of 60 million to 90 million users in 5 years. Even though inflation is high and there are fears of a slump, demand for Disney's theme parks and films has started off better than ever in 2023. In fact, Disney's parks are making a lot more money than they did before the pandemic because of things that have made each visitor spend more. On the streaming side, Disney Plus has been a huge hit, and Disney is now completely focused on making money from Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. 9. Berkshire Hathaway Inc. Most of the stocks on this list are growth stocks or stocks with exciting growth drivers. This one, on the other hand, is the most boring value pick of the bunch, but in the best way that could be. Berkshire Hathaway owns about 60 related companies, some of which are well-known brands like Geico, Duracell, and Dairy Queen, to name just a few. Berkshire also owns a portfolio of common stocks worth more than $320 billion. This portfolio includes huge stakes in Apple, Nasdaq Apple, Bank of America NICE BAC, Chevron NICE CVX, American Express NICE WXP, and Coca-Cola NICE CO, as well as positions in dozens of other companies. Many of these companies were chosen by legendary investor Warren Buffett, who at age 92 still manages most of Berkshire's investments. Berkshire would be the biggest actively run mutual fund in the world if it were a mutual fund. Berkshire still beats the market most years even though it is so big. Even though Berkshire won't have a return of 3,787,464%, that is not a typo, until the end of 2022, there's no reason to think it won't continue to do better than the S&P 500 for the near future. Buffett will not always be in charge, but Berkshire is his heritage, and he has been protecting it from stress for years to make sure it will be in good shape after he's no longer in charge. He has shown his faith by buying back shares with his old business partner Charlie Munger. That's a good sign for long-term owners like us who have patience. 10. Amazon. Most people don't think Amazon needs much of a pitch to get their attention. The company has a huge lead in the U.S. e-commerce market, with about $500 billion in gross goods sales last year, and its Amazon Web Services cloud platform is also a market winner. but there is more room for growth than you might think. We are still a long way from making the most of e-commerce. It still makes up less than 15% of all store sales in the US. The cloud business is also pretty new. By 2030, it is expected to be a $1.6 trillion market, which is about 4 times bigger than it is now. Amazon also has a lot of promise in other areas, like healthcare, food shops, neighborhood markets, and more.